Hey guys, hope you're doing well. I am in the van, as you can see, and there is a sheet of silver polyiso behind me. Curious to record in here just because I already noticed a huge difference in sound. Used to have tons and tons of road noise, and since I did the Reflectix with the 1/2 inch plywood on the floor there in the back, and then the Reflectix on the ceiling with the fat mat underneath that, which you can see those in the previous videos, I have been pretty impressed with how much quieter it is. A couple people have said, you know, putting that fat mat on the floor right here in the front where the driver and passenger seat are, cut down on engine noise and the heat from the engine. So I'm curious to do that, but I'll do that when I do my swivel seat install. So it got me thinking though, I pretty much have everything ready for putting the vinyl down, but the vinyl I know is probably going to take me a couple hours, 4 or 5 hours at least, to trim that out and then, you know, get it. And then the glue, it is going to take minimum 2 hours just to glue it down, because you lay it and then roll the vinyl up on half of it and put the glue down, and the glue has to set for 45 minutes, and then you put the vinyl down on top of it, and then you roll up the other half, glue it, 45 minutes, put it down. And I need the van for a job that I'm gonna have to put a door and stuff in, and I don't want to have the vinyl loose in there, and I don't really have a place to store that vinyl once I unroll it, because it's a 12 foot by 12 foot square. So but I do have some time between now and next week that I want to work on some stuff, and I was pretty impressed with sound deadening and heat retention. Actually, I just was in Lowe's for about an hour, and before I went to Lowe's, I obviously have the heater running, it's cold, and so I got out, shut the doors, went inside, and I was in there for about an hour, and I came out, opened the back doors, and it was noticeably warmer inside still than it was outside. So you know, the most of your heat goes up, and I thought with the windows a lot of it would go out, and I'm sure it is losing some because they're not tinted or anything yet. But just having this on the ceiling seems to make quite a bit of difference. So I am going to go ahead. I got the sheet of polyiso. I'm going to do the center of the ceiling. I'm still going to leave the sides open because I am going to do lights in the ceiling. And like I said, that is probably, unless something changes, that will probably be the last thing I do, is the ceiling. So just because if I want to run wires down this chase, there's a chase on either side, I don't want to have to pull the ceiling down to do that. So I do, since I have a couple days where I'll have a couple hours, I'm going to try and get the polyiso up on the ceiling down the middle and just improve that insulation and get that out of the way. And the polyiso is fairly inexpensive. I was going to do it the real easy way. As you can see, let's see if I can do this while I drive. On the ribs right here, where the ribs come down, between this low point and the rib is just over a 1/2 inch, but then over here in the middle, it's over 1 inch tall. So I was actually gonna just be lazy and do 1/2 inch and just curve it across the top, glue it to the low points, and call it good. But when I got to Lowe's, the cost difference between a 1/2 inch sheet and a 1 inch sheet was a whopping $1.50. I think a 1/2 inch was $10.68 and a 1 inch was $11.20 or something like that. So it wasn't, I don't think it even was $1. So my original thought was to get 1 inch and cut grooves in the back of it for the low spots, and I decided, no, I'll be cheap and do it, or quick and do it the other way. But the R value is double. It's R6, and the roof is pretty much where the most heat loss is going to go. So I am going to go ahead and just trim down that R, the 1 inch. So I'll do a video when I'm doing that. I'll cut the pieces, and then I'm going to have to cut some grooves in the back of them, and then glue them up. So anyway, seems like it's off to a good start. Like I said, the floors, the sound, the squeaks and rattles in the back of the van are virtually gone. That plywood is screwed down to the floor, and then the very edges I used that Loctite 2-in-1 or 3-in-1 that is called in the video, and I put a bead of that between it, so that's going to stay flexible for forever. The vinyl's going to wrap down over it so you won't see it. And then haven't had any squeaks or anything. I tried to keep the plywood between an 1/8 and a 1/4 inch away from the walls of the van. And I also grabbed the arbor I needed for my hole saw, so I can drill the hole and get that power outlet put on the side of the van as well. So, or power inlet is what it is technically. And I got my electrical stuff ordered, the stuff I need to kind of get started. So that'll all be here soon as well. So anyway, if you got any questions, put them in the comments below, or have suggestions on putting that polyiso up. I've watched 1 Awesome Inch enough that I should be an expert on polyiso, or at least the sound it makes when it's cut. So I will catch you guys on the next one. Till then, have a great one.